Good morning, students. Welcome to our today's class. Today we're going to talk about poetry, and we'll look at the characteristics of poetry and the characteristics of poems. First, we'll start with the characteristics of poems. One, the use of figurative language. Most poems use figurative language such as similes, metaphors, and personification. Secondly, there is use of rhyme, and this is the repetition of words at the end of lines and the end lines and can create musicality, emphasis, and unity in a poem. Thirdly, the rhythm and meter. Most poems use rhyme, whether regular or irregular, in order to create rhythm. The use of stressed and unstressed syllables are also evident. Then we have the use of imagery. Most poems involve the use of vivid descriptions to make readers feel the poem. Then there is economy. Poems often talk about the daily experiences of humans, thoughts, and etc. Then there is diction. Diction. In diction, poetry uses carefully chosen words to convey deeper meaning and emotions. Then we'll talk about the characteristics of poems. The previous the previous notes were on the characteristics of poems. Now we look at the characteristics of poetry. One, there is figures of speech. Poetry uses figurative language such as hyperbole, metaphors, and idioms. Secondly, there is the use of descriptive imagery. They use vivid description of what the poet sees, hears, or senses. Then we look at the punctuation and format. Poems are usually arranged in line breaks, stanzas, and breaks. Then we have sound and tone. Poets use different sounds and tones. They might use alliteration, consonants, and etc. Having looked at the characteristics of poems and characteristics of poetry, we look at the function of poetry. One, poetry can be used for community building. Most people use poetry to express their emotions and convey their feelings. Next, poetry promotes creativity as people have to think about a new discovery. Then, next, poem is a form of entertainment. Next, poems can be used for teaching, for identity, morality, communication, and beauty. Yeah, that's where our lesson for today ends. Let's meet at tomorrow's lesson.